Good evening, and welcome to Nox Historia. Tonight, we travel to the world of the Vikings. Wherever you are, and however your day has been, you can set it all down now. There is nothing left to do tonight. Nothing to fix, nothing to finish. Just let yourself grow heavy, let your breathing slow, and come with me, gently, in no hurry at all, to a small village by a northern sea, more than 1,000 years ago. We are not going to the Vikings of the raids and the longships and the battles, but to the quiet Vikings, the evening Vikings, the farmers and the fishers and the families, who made up almost all of them, settling down for a long winter night in the warm dark of their homes, while the snow falls softly outside. This is the age we now call the Viking Age. The years, roughly, from the 700s to the year 1066. And here is something most people never learn. To almost everyone alive in this northern world, the word Viking was not a person you were, but a thing you did. To go Viking meant to sail away on a voyage for a single season, to trade or to raid, and then to come home again. Most of the people of the North never went at all. They stayed here, on small farms like this one, and fished these cold gray waters, and raised their children, and lived their whole quiet lives by the fire. And it is their world, the real, ordinary, everyday world of the North, that we have come to visit tonight. You do not need to remember any of this. You do not need to follow closely or picture every detail. Just let the words drift past you, like snow falling past a window in the firelight. And if, somewhere along the way, you happen to fall asleep, good. That is exactly what this is for. It is a winter evening, far in the north. The short day is already ending, the pale sun slipping down behind the dark shoulders of the mountains, and a deep blue dusk is gathering over the land. Here, in winter, the nights are very long, and the people have learned, over many generations, not to fight the darkness, but to make a warm and comfortable peace with it. To gather in, to light the fire, to wait in good company for the slow return of the light. The village is small, just a handful of houses scattered along the shore of a great still fjord where the dark water lies between steep, snow-covered mountains. Smoke rises straight up from the rooftops into the windless air. The houses are long and low, built of timber and stone and turf, with grass growing on their curved roofs, so that in summer they seem to grow from the earth itself, and in winter they wear a soft, deep blanket of snow. Down at the water's edge, the boats are drawn up on the shingle for the night, leaning gently on their sides, their work done until morning. The great fjord is perfectly calm, a sheet of dark glass holding the last gray light of the sky. Now and then, a small wave folds over on the stones with a soft hush and draws back, and all is still again. Out across the water, the far shore is fading into the blue dark, and the first faint star is showing above the mountains. All along the shore stand the things of the sea, for the cold fjord and the ocean beyond it give this village much of its life. Tall wooden racks rise against the dusk, hung with split fish, cod, drying slowly in the cold, clean air into hard stockfish that will keep all through the winter and longer. Nets are spread to dry, stiffening in the frost. A few wooden barrels stand ready, and coils of rope, and the long oars leaning where they were left. The men who went out at first light into the gray cold of the morning sea are long since home now, their boats hauled up, their catch brought in. The sea has given what it will give today, and asks nothing more of anyone tonight. It is easy, looking at these small wooden boats resting on the snow to forget how very far their light could travel. For the ships of the north were the finest in all the world in their day, light and strong, and supple enough to bend with the great waves of the open ocean rather than break against them. In ships not so very different from these, the people of this age sailed west across the empty sea to settle Iceland, and then green-shored Greenland, and at last reached the shores of North America itself, some 500 years before Columbus would even be born. They carried no compass, for there was none. They steered instead by the sun and the stars and the color of the water and the flight of birds toward distant land, and a deep, patient knowledge of the sea, handed down from father to child. But tonight, all of that is far away. Tonight, these boats are home and resting and going nowhere at all. If your eyes have already begun to close, let them. You can stop listening whenever you like. I will keep walking slowly up from the shore toward the warm lights of the houses, and you can come with me as far as you wish to go. Let us walk up the path from the water through the soft, new snow toward the largest of the houses. The cold air is sharp and clean and smells of wood smoke in the sea. Our feet make a gentle crunch on the snow, and our breath clouds before us in the dusk. Ahead, low golden light spills from the small windows and from the gaps around the door, warm against the deep blue of the evening. And from within, faintly, comes the sound of voices and the crackle of a great fire. We pass a smaller building on the way, set a little apart from the houses, and from it comes a faint warm glow and the last soft ring of a hammer. It is the smithy, the forge, where the village smith works his iron. By day, this is the loudest, brightest place in the village, ringing with the blows of the hammer, the roar of the bellows, the hiss of hot metal plunged into water. The smith is a man of great importance here, for he makes everything the village depends on. The knives and the axes, the nails for the boats, the cooking pots, the tools for the farm. But the day's work is nearly done. The smith sets down his hammer and rests the last of his iron aside to cool. He rakes the glowing charcoal of his forge down low, banking it carefully, the deep orange light fading to a soft red glow under the ash. He wipes his blackened hands and stands a moment in the warmth of the dying fire, easing his tired shoulders, looking out at the snow falling through the open door. Then he pulls the door to, and the warm glow narrows and is gone, and the village is one lamp quieter. This is the longhouse, the heart of a Viking home. From the outside, it is a long, low hall, perhaps 30 paces from end to end, its timber walls packed with turf to hold out the cold, its roof a great curved back of grass and snow. Let us push open the heavy wooden door and step inside, out of the cold and the dark, into the warm. And what a warm it is. Down the whole length of the hall runs a long hearth set into the earthen floor, and along it several fires are burning, low and red and steady. The light moves and flickers on the timber walls, on the carved posts, on the faces of the family gathered near the warmth. The air is thick and cozy with wood smoke, which drifts slowly up and out through a small opening in the roof. There is the smell of the fire, and of a stew simmering in an iron pot, and of wool, and of the animals at the far end of the hall. It is dim and golden and close and safe. There are no separate rooms here. The whole life of the household happens in this one long space. Along both walls run low raised platforms of packed earth and timber, covered with furs and woven cloths. By day, these are benches where people sit and work. By night, they are beds, where the whole family sleeps, wrapped in furs and woolen blankets, close to the warmth of the banked fires. To sleep here, in the deep of winter, is to lie in the firelight, with your family breathing all around you, and the snow falling silently on the roof above. There is no hurry. We have all night. The evening meal is being shared around the fire. Over the central hearth hangs a great iron cauldron on a chain, and in it a stew has been slowly simmering all afternoon. Barley and onions and pieces of dried fish or mutton, rich and warm and filling for a cold night. The mother of the house ladles it into simple wooden bowls and passes them around, and the family eats with horn spoons, sitting close along the benches in the firelight. There is flat barley bread baked on a stone by the fire. There is butter and cheese, and perhaps a little ale poured from a jug into wooden cups. No one hurries. There is nowhere to go out there in the snow and the dark. There is only this, the warm bowl in the hands, the fire, the low murmur of family talk, the long winter night settling comfortably around them all. When the bowls are empty, they are set aside, and people sit back, warm and full and content, and the talk grows slower and softer. Near the door, an old man sits working a piece of wood by the firelight. He is carving, slowly, patiently, a simple spoon, turning it in his weathered hands, taking off a curl of pale wood with each careful stroke of his knife. He has made 100 such things in his life, 1,000. His hands know the work so well that he need not even watch them, and his eyes have gone soft and far away, gazing into the embers. Beside him, the curls of wood gather on the floor, and the firelight catches the blade as it moves, slow and slow and slow. Across the hearth, a woman sits at her weaving. The loom stands upright against the wall, a tall wooden frame, and the threads of wool hang down it, weighted at the bottom with smooth, round stones. All through the dark winter, the women of the north weave, the cloth for the family's clothes, the sails for the ships, the very fabric that holds this whole world together. And consider this as her hands move steadily in the firelight. A single great sail for a single ship might take the wool of hundreds of sheep and more than a year of a woman's patient spinning and weaving to complete. Cloth was so precious in the north and such labor that a ship's woolen sail could be worth as much as the whole ship beneath it. So the women at their looms, working quietly through every long winter like this one, were in truth weaving the very power of their people. For without the sail, those famous ships would never have gone anywhere at all. Her hands move steadily, passing the weft across, drawing it tight, passing it back. It is one of the oldest and most soothing of all human sounds, the soft, rhythmic clack of the loom weights, knocking gently together, back and forth and back. A sound to fall asleep to, here in the warm. The children are gathered close to the fire, drowsy now, leaning against the warm bodies of the grown-ups, their eyes growing heavy in the flickering light. A baby sleeps in a wooden cradle, rocked now and then by a foot without a thought. And a great shaggy hound lies stretched full length before the embers, twitching gently in some warm dog dream, as close to the fire as he can get. At the far end of the long hall, beyond a low wooden partition, the animals are settled for the night. For in this hard country, the most precious beasts come indoors through the worst of the winter. A few cattle, some sheep, the goats, sharing the shelter of the longhouse and adding their own warmth to it. We can hear them softly in the dark, the gentle shift of a hoof on the packed floor, the slow, contented breathing of a cow, the rustle of straw. There is something very old and very peaceful in it, people and animals, together, waiting out the long, cold night beneath one snow-covered roof. Let us sit a while by the fire, for the best part of the evening is beginning. An old woman, the grandmother of the house, sets aside her work, and the children turn toward her, for they know what is coming. She is going to tell a story. In this world, where almost no one reads or writes, the stories are kept alive only in the telling, passed down by the fireside, night after night, winter after winter, from the old to the young. They do have a kind of writing, it is true. Runes, sharp, angular letters cut into wood and stone, well suited to a name or a memorial, or a few words carved over a doorway. But the great tales were far too long for that. They lived only in memory and in the voice. And so, for hundreds of years, these stories were never written down at all. Almost everything we know today of the old Norse gods, we owe to a handful of Icelanders who, long after this night, at last set the old tales onto parchment. Most of all, a man named Snorri Sturluson, who gathered the myths into a book some 800 years ago. Without him, and without all the grandmothers, by all the fires, who kept the tales alive in the telling just long enough to reach him, the very story this old woman is murmuring tonight might have been lost from the world forever. And so she begins, in a low and easy voice, a tale she heard from her own grandmother long ago. A tale of gods and giants, of the great world tree whose branches hold up the sky, of cunning Loki and mighty Thor, of far Valhalla and the long halls of the gods. And though it may seem these gods are long forgotten now, you greet them yourself, even today, every single week. For the chief of the gods, one-eyed Odin, Woden in the older tongue, gives his name to Wednesday. Thor the Thunderer gives his to Thursday, and the goddess Frigg gives hers to Friday. The old gods of the north have been sleeping quietly inside the ordinary names of our days all this time, and most of us pass them by every week of our lives without ever once noticing they are there. The children listen, wide-eyed at first, and then more and more slowly, their blinks growing longer, as the old voice rises and falls, gentle as the sea on the stones, and the fire crackles, and the snow falls, and one by one, their heads grow heavy and begin to nod. You need not follow the story either. Let it wash over you the way it washes over the children, just the warm rise and fall of an old voice in the firelight, telling of things long ago. There is nowhere to be, nothing to do, only the warmth and the soft voice in the falling snow. If you are still with me, there is no need to hold on tightly. The night will carry both of us from here. Let your thoughts loosen, let them wander where they like. Let us step outside, just for a moment, into the cold, clean dark. Oh, but it is beautiful out here now. While we sat by the fire, the last of the daylight has gone, and the great northern night has come. The sky is enormous and black and utterly clear, and it is filled from edge to edge with stars. More stars than you have ever seen, sharp and brilliant in the freezing air. The snow on the ground holds their faint light and glows softly, so that the whole world seems to shimmer, silver and blue, beneath the burning sky. And there, look, low over the mountains, a pale green light, faint at first, then brightening, stretching, beginning to move. The northern lights. Great silent curtains of green and violet, rippling slowly across the heavens, folding and unfolding, pouring across the stars. The people here have watched this all their lives on the clearest and coldest of winter nights, and they have woven it deep into their stories. Some say it is the light glinting off the armor of the Valkyries riding across the sky. However they name it, they fall asleep beneath it, as people have here for thousands of years. This slow, silent, shimmering fire in the dark. The cold is deep and clean, and the village is silent now. The boats sleep on the shore. The fjord lies black and still. A single dog barks once, far off, and then is quiet. Smoke rises straight and gray from every snow-covered roof into the starlight. And behind every door, in the warm red firelight, the people of the north are settling down to sleep. The Norse had a gentle way of thinking about the night. They said that the night was a goddess. Nótt, they called her, dark-haired and kind. And each evening she mounts her horse, a fine dark steed named Hrimfaxi, which means frost mane, and she rides him all the way across the sky, from the eastern edge of the world to the western. And as he runs through the long night, foam falls from his bit down upon the earth below. And that, the Norse said, is where the morning dew comes from, the dew you find at dawn on the cold grass. And behind her, always following, rides her own son, Dagr, the day, on his shining horse, bringing the light back again. The dark was never to be feared. It was only Nótt, riding gently over, on her way to bring the morning. There is something deeply comforting in that, as your own eyes grow heavy. That the night is not empty and not endless. That it is only a kind goddess on a dark horse, riding slowly across the sky above your roof. And that her son the day rides always close behind. Let us slip back inside now, into the warmth, one last time. The story is over. The fire has burned down to a deep, glowing bed of embers, and someone banks it carefully with ash, so that a few coals will live through the night and wake easily at dawn. For to let the fire die completely on a winter night like this is a hard and cold beginning to the day. The last soapstone lamp, burning its little pool of fish oil, is pinched out, and the long hall sinks into a deep, warm, red-glowing dark. All down the length of the house, the family lies wrapped in furs along the benches, close together, close to the warmth. The old man, his carving set aside. The weaver, her loom gone quiet. The children, deep asleep already, their story dreams full of gods and giants. The animals breathing slowly in the dark at the end of the hall. And over them all, the soft tick and settle of the cooling timbers, and the whisper of snow on the roof. And somewhere far above, Nótt riding her dark horse on across the stars. More than 1,000 years have passed since this night, the one we have been walking through together. The longhouses are gone, their timbers long since returned to the earth, their hearths grown cold beneath the grass. The names of the old carver, and the weaver, and the grandmother telling her tale were never written down and are lost. And yet the fjord still lies dark between the mountains, exactly as it did. The same snow falls. The same northern lights still pour their silent fire across the sky. And the night still comes, every evening, just as gently, and goes again by morning. The people of the village are asleep now, wrapped in their furs, in the warm red dark, with the fire banked low and the snow falling soft on the roof, and the whole long winter night around them. They do not know that we came to visit. They are only sleeping, as the whole world sleeps, as you, perhaps, are sleeping now. So let go of the last of it, whatever you are still holding. The night has the fjord, and the mountains, and the falling snow. The night has you. There is nothing more to be done, and there never was. Nótt is riding gently over on her dark horse, and the morning rides always close behind. You have only to rest and let the long night carry you. Sleep well, and when you are ready to travel again, Nox Historia will be waiting. Good night.